Hey there, everyone. This is HHS EPI, and I'm Annie, reporting to you live from Lexington, Kentucky. It's Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. Today we'll be talking about a sensitive subject occurring here at the University of Kentucky. There have been a dreadful amount of deaths among college students. On this podcast, we will be diving into what happened and the facts behind these tragedies. Sounds like fun, right? What began as an amazing victory for the University of Kentucky is turning into a sick nightmare. Literally, hundreds of people have become sick after celebrating the Cats' recent win at the SEC Championships 3 days ago. On the show today, we will have two guest speakers, a local physician and a college student, who will help provide us with a few insights regarding the unimaginable event occurring here. But first, I want to give some background information. About 3 days ago, there was excitement all around campus because the UK football team had won the SEC championship for the first time. All the downtown bars, especially Tin Roof, were packed as people clinked drinks to celebrate the win. People stated that they partied harder than they have all year. So naturally, many of them were not surprised when they woke up feeling horrible. They were experiencing nausea, vomiting, fatigue, headaches, and extreme sensitivity to light. All symptoms that were similar to that of an extreme hangover. Little did they know that these are also the symptoms that the bacteria Frio Cholericia can cause in humans. The CDC has reported that this bacteria is a mutant strain of the bacteria that causes cholera, which explains why the symptoms of this illness are fairly similar to the symptoms of cholera. However, since I'm not the expert on this disease yet, I'm going to call our first guest speaker, Dr. Eagle, from the University of Kentucky's own hospital. He will be giving us important facts and prevention methods involving this disease, as well as answering a few questions I'm sure we all have. Let's give Dr. Eagle a ring and see what he has to say.
Hello, this is Dr. Eagle. Go ahead.
Hey there, Dr. Eagle. This is Annie with HHS EPI here. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm okay. I'm very busy right now. We have a lot going on with this outbreak.
I'm sure things are extremely hectic. Can you tell me a little about the Frio Cholericia bacterium before we dive into some prevention tactics and other topics?
Yes. Well, for that outbreak, I worked very closely with the World Health Organization, or WHO, and they agree with the CDC that this is a similar bacterium to cholera. Just like cholera, WHO states that this is an enteric infection caused by contaminated water.
Wow, can you confirm where this contaminated water came from for this case?
Well, we believe the source of infection is contaminated ice that was used for mixed drinks at a local bar called the Tin Roof. Tin Roof has closed down for the time being, and we advise everyone to ask for their drinks without ice until all sources of contamination have been identified and taken care of.
That's some great advice. Now, Dr. Eagle, I know a lot of people went out to celebrate for the UK game, and I'm sure many of them drank mixed drinks that contain this ice. Can you confirm for me how many people you believe have been infected by this bacteria, or could you tell me how many people are currently admitted to the hospital with these symptoms?
Unfortunately, the numbers are not great. Unlike the Vibrio cholera strain that is well known and takes within 12 hours to 5 days to show symptoms, this bacterium acts even faster. Frio Cholericia only takes 10 to 14 hours to show symptoms and only 20 hours to cause death or coma if untreated. When the first people began experiencing the symptoms and mistook those for a hangover, it was too late to help them by the time they had realized how deathly ill they were. Many of them did not even have time to be admitted or brought to the hospital because their symptoms were so severe. Over 150 people died tragically 2 days ago. And since then, 75 additional deaths have been reported. Currently in the hospital, there are about 200 people with these symptoms, which is over a 90% increase in the number of patients who are normally admitted for those symptoms. We believe around 600 people have been to the Tin Roof in the last 3 days, so there may be some unreported cases still out there.
This is such a devastation. This bacterium has spread rapidly in such a short amount of time. Do you know of any prevention measures or proactive ways against Frio Cholericia?
Yes, someone who is experiencing these symptoms or knows someone who is to come to the hospital immediately. Although the results of this recent outbreak have been dramatic and deadly, serious improvements have been seen with simple IV rehydration, possible antibiotics, and bed rest while being monitored by our esteemed staff. Our staff is also working closely with the CDC to find an exact antibiotic that works the best to fight this bacterium. Without these precautions, it is very likely that you may not survive this virulent strain.
That's some great advice. It looks like we're out of time for today, but thank you so much, Dr. Eagle, for taking time out of your busy schedule to help inform the public. I hope you have a great day and good luck with all of your patients.
Okay, yeah, my pleasure, and have a good day.
I hope you found that Dr. Eagle answered some of those lingering questions you may have had about this problematic sickness. I really liked how he related it to a disease we have had in the past, but have basically eradicated in the U.S. I hope this gives you hope that this will not be a forever disease, and that if you are sick right now, there are strong prospects for your future if you seek medical help. Our next speaker that is here with us today is Michelle Marty. Her roommate was one of the first to be infected. Michelle is here to tell her story. How are you holding up today, Michelle?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. I won't lie, I think it has been extremely difficult seeing so many of my fellow peers, friends, and roommates be affected and die from this disease. It is shocking to think that something that seems as harmless as a drink can kill so many people.
I think the majority of the Lexington population is just as shocked as you, Michelle. I know I am. It's a tragedy. Could you recount some of the details of that night when you went out with your roommate and when she began showing symptoms of all the illness?
Of course, I want everyone to know how this disease attacks because if anyone is experiencing anything like my roommate was, they should go to a doctor immediately. So the night started off great. We had been at Tin Roof all day. We watched the game and celebrated thereafter with the rest of the school when we won. I only drank bottled beer all night, whereas my roommate was drinking one mixed drink after another. Each drink was full of ice, and normally this wouldn't cause a problem. Not this time though, I guess.
So you personally did not have any mixed drinks or drink any of the drinks that contained ice since you were drinking bottled beer?
Yes, I guess that was a lucky coincidence that I decided to only drink beer all night and luckily didn't drink anything with the contaminated ice. But as for my roommate, since we had been there all day, her symptoms started affecting her while we were still celebrating at 10. Around 1 a.m., she began saying she felt horrible. She even threw up once while we were there. I decided that we needed to go home. Her throwing up didn't seem that weird to me because I just assumed she had had a bit too much to drink, so we walked back home. I got her a glass of water and tucked her into bed. Then I went to sleep, too, thinking she would be okay. Little did I know she spent the rest of the night vomiting.
I'm sorry about that.
I think she also thought she was just really drunk or hungover because she didn't think to come wake me up so I could drive her to the hospital or something. By the time I woke up around 10:30, I made breakfast and went in to see if she was awake. And she was totally unresponsive. She looked horribly pale and had a cold sweat on her forehead, but at the same time she was burning up with a fever. I checked her pulse and it felt like she was barely there.
Oh my gosh.
I got so scared and called 911 immediately. It was later determined that she did in fact die from dehydration caused by Frio Cholericia. It is the most tragic thing I have ever been through.
I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. And there's no one to blame. It's just a tragedy. There's no way you could have known this would happen. Hopefully, Michelle's story has proved to everyone listening right now that this is no common cold. Michelle, do you have anything else you want to say to our listeners?
I just hope that anyone who's experiencing these symptoms go to the doctor immediately.
Thank you so much for your time today, Michelle. This outbreak has impacted the present and future lives of the entire university and possibly the state. I'm sure people will be asking for their drinks without ice for a long time to come. We are almost out of time, but thanks so much for listening, and tune in next week to find out what other restaurants or companies have been using the same contaminated ice, and to see if there are any additional improvements in this case. Just remember, this is Annie with HHS EPI. Have a good one.